Capcom, one of my favorite video game producing companies. I've been in the business for as long as I can honestly remember. Has produced some of probably the best fighting games, not only fighting games but video games in general that I've ever had a chance to play. Some of those games may include Street Fighter, which everybody knows. I don't think there's a person in the world, unless they truly don't give a damn about video games, that has never heard about Street Fighter. Resident Evil, Devil May Cry, hell, Strider, Darkstalkers. I mean, there are many titles that have come out of Capcom that have been developed and produced by Capcom. So recently, Marvel vs. Capcom has just come out, Infinite, and I would argue, and a lot of other people will argue, the game didn't do so hot. It's not doing so hot as far as production value and things have gone when it's come to that game. And so I was just sitting and thinking to myself, man, because as I stated in every video, and I will continue to state, when I see my favorite either video games or video games companies doing bad, that troubles me as a fan of these companies. And the reason for that is because you never want to see something you like fail. No one does. So I was thinking to myself, man, what is something cool that Capcom can do as a company to not only bring back the sales that they know they want, that the fans know they want, but also redeem themselves for the fans, by the fans, as a company, to kind of say, you know what, we know you guys care about video games, and we care about video games as much as y'all care. Because in my eyes, recent production value especially with Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite compared to their previous works, it looks sloppy and lazy, and that's not a cool thing. So you know what? Picture this. Picture if Capcom itself as a company came out with something along the lines of a Capcom fighting game anthology. Now you sit there thinking to yourself, well, Boskov, what was something, or hell, I'm sitting here thinking to myself, Boskov, what would something like that entail? Well, I'll sit there and tell you. Give me a second. Every critically acclaimed, highly popular fighting game, if not every fighting game that Capcom has ever published, directed, or produced, all in one package. Kind of like how they did with Street Fighter Anthology. Kind of like how any game does with any anthology. One of the biggest anthologies I know of is like, what do you call it? I think it was the Sonic Mega Mix CD. It was something along the lines. Sonic Mega Collection, when they came out with that. Or Metal Slug, when they came out with that. Something along the lines that has all the fighting games in there, because most of the, actually, if not almost all the fighting games that Capcom's made, whether they be cult classics like Darkstalkers or something world-renowned like Street Fighter, are highly popular with a lot of Capcom fans and fighting game fans in general. Well, I'm sitting here thinking to myself, Boskov, what would that include? It would include games like Street Fighter, all of it. I'm not going to say all of the Street Fighters. I highly doubt, especially since when I think of anthologies, I think of classics, brought back to be made known, redone. So when I think of stuff like that, you think of all the Street Fighters up until maybe Street Fighter 3. Excuse me, maybe Street Fighter 4, because I don't know if Street Fighter 4 is old enough to be considered a classic. I would say all the Street Fighters, even like the Pocket Fighters and stuff like that, inside of one game. So that would include the Alpha series, that would include Street Fighter 1 through 3, and you know what, since this is like a fantasy thing, I would say Street Fighter, all the Street Fighter EX. And yeah, it includes EX plus Alpha 1 and 2 and EX3. That would include Darkstalkers. I would love to see all the Darkstalkers games in there. Any other game, because when it really boils down to it, those are mostly the games I know from Street Fighter. The cross battles, any of the cross battles, that includes Tatsunoko, if that's old enough to be considered a classic. CVS 1 and 2. That's old enough. CVS 1 and 2 is old enough. CVS 1 and 2. What was it? SNK versus Capcom. What was it? Chaos or something like that. Like I said, all of the crossovers, because all of those are old enough. Like I said, I'm not too sure about Tatsunoko. Definitely Darkstalkers. And if y'all know of any, I know there's like some that I've never got a chance to play, like Power Stone. I've never played that, mostly because, one, now that I think about it, around where I lived at the time that those games were coming out, only like arena style fighting game that I ever knew about was Smash Bros. Something like Power Stone I've never played because it wasn't advertised, and if it was advertised, my focus was on Smash Bros. So bring Power Stone back as a game, right? Something along the lines of that. Just as a here we're trying to redeem ourselves. We actually care about the gamers. Here you guys go. And then something like that could be released during like an anniversary. Because when I see like all these anniversaries, like Capcom's anniversary and Sega anniversary and these anniversary things, yeah, they have conventions and things like that, but I never see anything big enough to be considered like an anniversary type deal. Like they never like release anything cool. So I'm thinking you can release something like this during Capcom's next anniversary. Release it as a game and surprise the fuck out of everybody. Is something like this highly possible? Yes, it is. I do believe so. Of course it's possible. Like I said, if Sega and all these other games can release it was an alpha anthology, but it wasn't all of their games. So if Sega and all these other games can release anthologies, Capcom can do it too. The reality of like all the fantasy games that I've named being inside of that game, like thinking about it, like if since I was talking about it on like fantasy terms, talking about realistic terms, probably only see the Street Fighters, possibly Darkstalkers, maybe Power Stone. I think it would be a little bit harder for them to put in something like the cross battles, just because of the other companies' involvement in that, especially the EX titles with Capcom and Eureka doing the other thing, and especially since Eureka is getting ready to drop, I believe within this next year, their unknown EX fighting game. So, is it possible? Yes. Is it possible that I will see that if something like that would be made, will we see all of the titles in there? Like the ones, cross titles and EX? Less likely, but I think it's possible. If SNK, I think we would at least see, if not the EX series, I think the cross series, because if SNK can throw in their characters in a Tekken game, which, I mean, they put Mai and Dead or Alive, and now they get ready to release Geese and Tekken 7. If they can do that, I'm thinking they would be lenient towards doing having their game inside of a Capcom fighting game anthology. Oh yeah, and how could I fucking forget Marvel vs. Capcom? All the way, I would say all the way up until 2. I don't know about 3. I don't know if 3 is old enough to be considered a classic, right? I'm pretty sure you get where I'm trying to go with this. The pricing on something like that, that would be something that would be worth $60. Really sit and think about that. Every classic Capcom produced game inside of one disc, that's something that's worth $60. You don't know. I'm sitting here thinking about it. You don't understand how many people will go nuts just from something like that being revealed. And especially, like, you would think these companies are businesses. They want to make money. That's a surefire, easy way to just guarantee billions of sales, millions of copies sold, big bucks. Of course, I'm making it's easier said than done, but speaking on the reality terms of it, but it's something that a lot of people would be excited about. Just think about it. At the next Capcom anniversary expose or convention or whatever they do that's like big, they announce something like that. And then even you want to, a lot of people like added content onto a game. You want to do something special, have it to where, especially since there's all these leaks about these characters being added to Marvel vs. Capcom, do something crazy like, okay, if you get this game and you have a copy of Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, you get a maybe if SNK were lenient enough and they were willing to work and cooperate, you probably get something like an SNK character. And like I said, this is just Dream Team stuff. An SNK character inside of a Marvel vs. Capcom, or you can even get something like especially because of the leaks, something like a legacy character in Marvel vs. Capcom. I mean, like I said, these leaks are already talking about it. So, of course, popular characters like Magneto, Wolverine, Venom, Gambit. Who else did I really like in Marvel vs. Capcom? Classic Mega Man. Hell, throw in a John Talbane. Just something along the lines of that. Hey, you got a copy of Marvel vs. Capcom? Guess what you get? You get these such and such characters. Maybe a John Talbane from Darkstalkers. Just like with each game that gets released, there's like a character I don't even have Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, but you see what I'm saying? You see the like the potential hype that could be put there for something like that. Capcom's fighting game anthology. Just fucking blow it up, make it huge. Do it like along the line. That would be dope. That would be dope. That would be a $60 game for sure. Especially with all these remakes and reboots and all these other things. I guess it would be remaster, 60 frames per second. I don't know. I'm not too sure how that will work, but go along. Hell, since we talking fantasy shit, go along the lines of 4K possibilities, tournament modes, all that other shit, man. It's possible. It's possible. The shit that can be done with that. Throw in 2v2 mode. Have it add a mode. I'm always watching like at least when it's being streamed, the Fightcade stuff. Have a mode to where you have like kind of like a Fightcade. Take the idea from Fightcade, since they pretty much have all those games in there, and have it to where like you can go and watch other people's games, spectate other people's games, and different shit like that. I don't know. Maybe while you waiting on your game to be, or waiting for a match to happen wherever you're, whatever game you're streaming, or not streaming, whatever game you're playing at the time, watch another person's game, spectate, do shit like that. There's so much that can be done if that were a proper title, if it were to be done right, if Capcom wants free money. That's free money potential right there. If I were Capcom, I guess, executive or producer, and I really gave a fuck about the fans and my products and the shit that I produce, I would want to pursue something like that. That's people, especially now, not even just now, always, people love classics. Classics are fun. So to be able to see something like that, that would be fucking huge. I just thought, I've been thinking about that. I was like, what if they release something like that? And I decided to talk about it on camera. What do y'all think about that? Do you think it would be as successful as I'm trying to imagine it in my head? Because I think that'd be highly successful. Fucking successful. I think at that point, if something like that ever happened, people would just either pardon, excuse, or completely forget everything that we saw that was bad about Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite or any of the other previous titles that Capcom's released that we may not have got, we have probably been disappointed about. That would wipe away everyone's disappointment and just please so many fans on so many damn levels, especially if you re-release cult classics like Darkstalkers inside of the game with Capcom, every one of Capcom's other titles that have been released that are now classics. Of course, replay value would be, dude, that would be the biggest goddamn thing. Think about all these FGC tournaments that are going on. All these other people who are now getting into esports and FGC, especially you do something like esports. I'm telling you, man. Oh my goodness. Just this, like, and this is how you know I get excited about things like that, or how you know it's something that I think will be considered good because of how excited I feel about it. How good of an idea that it sounds to me that something like that could happen. That'd be dope. I'd want to see that happen. But the extreme reality of it is that the way that things are going with Capcom, do I see that happening anytime soon? No. If it does happen, and if for some reason somebody at Capcom wanted to pursue something like that, we probably wouldn't see nothing like that probably within the next 10 to 20 years or so. But that is something that would make a lot of people happy. That would hold me off. That's damn, dude, that would hold me off for so fucking long. That probably would be one of my favorite Capcom releases. A fighting game anthology. I'm trying to sit here and think like what other silly modes and stuff that you can pop in there. There's so much that you can do with that. I hear information and I look up information about the previous titles. I can redeem them so hard. Bring back sales, bring back fans, die-hard fans, bring in new fans, especially the new generation. Not everybody knows about something like a Darkstalkers. Back when I played Darkstalkers, I thought it was one of the biggest games that Capcom ever released. Unbeknownst to me, that was a cult classic that not a lot of people got a chance to play or enjoy, just because it probably wasn't as popular as Street Fighter or any of the other titles. Like I said, Power Stone. I never played Power Stone, but you released that in a package like that, that would get me into it. And on top of that, throw in online capabilities. Well, I've already said that, but you get my drift. You get my drift. You get my drift. All in one goddamn game. It'd be a good buy. So, let me know what you think about that. Capcom's fighting game anthology. That would be the title too. What other title would you pop onto that? What other title would you pop onto that? Remastered, 4K abilities, 60 frames per second, 2v2 modes on the cross battles. Yeah, and then on even if they didn't throw Marvel vs. Capcom's in there, we'd probably see something like Capcom's fighting game anthology with like main games like Street Fighter and Darkstalkers, and then there'd be like a Marvel vs. Capcom anthology. So I mean, they can be spread out or whatever, but any type of anthology that just throws the classics into one title and does something how Fightcade has it set up. Guaranteed money, man. Talk about business material. Catering to the fans while making the money that you feel like you deserve all at the fucking same time. While putting good taste in people's mouth. Why wouldn't you want to do that? Why wouldn't you want to pursue something like that? But once again, I'm just Boscoff. I don't know shit about making, producing, or developing video games. I'm just a fucking fan who would love to see some fantasy shit like that. Something finally like I would throw cash at that. And the best part about it is, I don't know why they would do it. It would be dumb to do that, but there'd be no need for DLC or season passes because everything that was already all the ultimate editions, all the special editions and everything, they'd already be thrown in there for you to enjoy. Turn on when you want to, turn it off when you need to. Who would need to turn something like that off? God damn, that would be huge. Publicity, acclaims, and awards for years to come. That would be one of the biggest things they'd ever fucking release. Boscoff, you keep saying it. I fucking know. I understand because it's that hype. I get that excited about something like that. So, like I said, let me know what y'all think in the comments box down below about if there were such thing as a Capcom fighting game anthology. Would you want it? I fucking would. If you're a Capcom fighting game fan, I don't see why you wouldn't want something like that. Personally, like that's not me. I don't know what you call that, but like that's just me being real. I don't know why anybody wouldn't want something like that if you're a fighting game fan, or especially if you're a Capcom fighting game fan. I know other companies would have the potential, fighting game companies would have the potential to do that, but Capcom was the one that just popped up in my head. Of course, you could see something like that with Tekken or anything, but like I said, I really like Capcom. That's if I had a top 5 favorite video game producing companies, that would be one of the companies that I would label in my top 5. I don't know where that would be on the list as far as that goes, but they'd be in there regardless of their bullshit, because every company out there has bullshit about them. But that'd be one of my favorites. So I'm done with this cigar. This shit's done. That's a goddamn shame. It's just good too. I'm finished. I'm about to go back in. Goddamn Tekken tournament is on. The DBZ exhibition matches are getting ready to come on. So I'm about to go sit in some warmth with my kitties and enjoy that. So y'all already know what it is, man. It's Boscar. Y'all go enjoy the rest of y'all goddamn day. And have a good one. Whenever you are, whatever time of day. And y'all already know what to do, man. Keep them schlongs long, them clips tight. I'll see you to the hoes on the flip one. Peace.